In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating one way you can work up to moving past distractions on walks. And you can use this method, I call it the peek game, to help your dog learn how to stay focused on you, and that these distracting things like another dog going by or children or people or that kind of thing can be something that they can both focus around or not be afraid of if they're afraid of these things, and how we can work towards building some confidence and responsiveness around those distractions. The way you want to start is you want to make sure that your dog can actually follow cues and be focused outside when there are minimal distractions present prior to moving on to this game. So if your dog won't take treats or won't play or won't follow some basic cues when you are outside just in your yard, that's going to be a place that you're going to want to have to start first, because you do want your dog to be able to follow instructions and for sure to be able to take food comfortably without like snapping your fingers or that kind of thing when you are just outside with minimal distractions. The next thing you're going to want is you're going to want a situation where you have a way to visually block their view of the distraction, and either somebody to help you who has a really calm dog, or if it's people you're working on, somebody who's not going to try to be interacting with your dog while you're practicing. And then you want a way to be able to move forward and backward into view and out of view without having any kind of risks with doing so. So you don't want to have to be like crossing the street over and over again and have maybe a car come or something be in your way. So what works really well for most dogs is to use a parked car, and then you can have your distraction on one side and you can move back and forth, as I will be demonstrating in this video. You'll see in the first clip that I am using a gentle leader. It is something that my dog already is very comfortable wearing, so I demonstrate doing it that way. If your dog isn't comfortable in a gentle leader, you can by all means use a collar or a harness. And so in the second clip, I show how he does the same things with just a collar. You can do whatever is most comfortable for you. If you are afraid your dog's going to pull you over and your dog is comfortable in a gentle leader, that can be a good option just for safety for everybody. You also want to make sure that you can be at a distance from this distraction, that once it does appear in view, you're not at a point where your dog is going to be reactive. So that might mean that you are across the street and the car is parked here, you're on this side of the street, and the distraction is over here, and you're peeking back and forth, and you have more distance between than in this video example. Inflatable dogs work really well, or really old dogs who don't care about what's going on can be good. If you have a friend with a dog who's highly food motivated, sometimes having your distractor dog just sit there and eat food out of a Kong so that that dog doesn't have to do anything is really good. You want to start with something that's not going to bark back or be reactive to your dog when you're starting out, so that you can start with the calmest, easiest distraction you can come up with for your pet. Then you want to move into view, and as soon as there's the potential for your dog to see that distraction, you want to mark and move out of view. And so as you reach for that treat, after the marker, so the click or the yes, you're going to be reaching for the treat and backing up so that your dog no longer can see the distraction. And you're going to do a lot of repetitions of just really short, brief viewings until your dog is seeing the dog or person and then immediately looking back towards you and ready to follow you back. Once you're getting that responsiveness and you're not having to encourage your dog back with some verbal praise after the mark, then you can move to asking for known cues in the presence of that distraction. So a sit or nose targets work really well if your dog already knows those. You want to evaluate how well your dog responds to those known cues. If there's a delay, if your dog usually takes treats really nicely and is snapping them out of your hand when they can see the distraction, you know you're a bit too close, or you're staying in view a little bit too long, and to do some shorter repetitions first and then try it for longer again. And then once you are getting good responsiveness to those cues, you can increase the amount of time that you're sitting in the presence of that distraction or moving past. And that can help a lot. So practicing this way does a couple things. It builds a positive association with that distraction. So if your dog is afraid or nervous about other dogs, it helps build that positive association. Oh, other dogs are there and I get good things. And it also builds a responsiveness to you because you're the one that all the reinforcement is coming from. So they're going to be more likely to look to you after looking at that distraction, and you can capture that look to you. So if your dog looks at the distraction and looks back at you, you can capture that moment and mark that and treat that even if you didn't ask them to look at you. So that's kind of how you can start building up to these distractions. You can implement this same idea on actual walks. If you have parked cars in your neighborhood that you can tuck behind and hide behind, just be aware of what kind of distractions are passing by. If it's just a person or a dog who's not caring that you're there, maybe you do pop out and peek at them from behind that parked car or behind that bush or whatever you found to hide behind. If it's something that they're really distracted by or they're really struggling with that kind of distraction, you may want to just use that visual block and keep them focused without them seeing that distraction until it's far enough away that it's not going to be a problem for your dog. If you try this and you're struggling and you want some one-on-one help, by all means reach out and let me know. I'd be happy to help you find a way to work on distractions on walks with your dog. Good walk. Good walk. Good walk. Good walk. Good walk.